Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry about my hair. It's a bit messy and I carry my son on the back, so anyways, just wanted to make a clear video about the importance of clarity. And this ties back to Islam, but it's something I've learned in business actually. And I want to share some lessons from business because they are very applicable, because in business you have no feelings, it's just pure calculations. So whatever kind of remains or whatever is a rule in business that is like a truth, it's actually a life truth. It's just we found it in business. Anyways, look at the beautiful nature. So this one is about clarity. I've realized I had a foggy brain for many years. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know my direction on both levels. So I didn't know my direction in life, like what is my purpose, what am I doing here, stuff like that. What's my career gonna be like? Do I want kids? Blah blah blah. Before I was a Muslim, of course. And I think most people are confused on that level, but also on a micro level. In terms of picking specific things within some niches or whatever like that. So like, how much money do I want to make and stuff like that. So it's very difficult actually. But one thing is, the more close you can get to having clarity over your goals or whatever your life, the easier your life gets. It's just mathematical equation, and it's just rules. I don't know how it works. I don't know why Allah created it like that, but that's kind of how it is. There's no way around. The more clear you are on like who you want to marry and what should be the attributes of your wife, or if you want to have kids, blah blah blah, the more easier it is gonna be to find that person, right? Because you know who you're looking for. In business, for example, the more generic your offer is. So like we work with a lot of software development companies. My clients are software developers, and they are very generic. So we can build software, great, but for who? And that's when they say for everybody. And it's difficult. But those who are successful, they say we work with funded startups, or we work for enterprise companies in the manufacturing industry. And so they chose some specific location of their services, and they can dominate because they know what their target audience is thinking about, what the client needs, and they can just make a better offering. My son is making noises, hopefully it's fine. Okay, and so then don't mind the noises, it's fine. And so the same thing can be applied to your life. So like the more specific you can have a goal with your wife, I'm saying if you can choose, so like her deen level, her culture, nationality, all that stuff, if you can make it clear, then it's making it easier to look for that person and find it. And so it's the same thing with everything. For example, a lot of people have clarity on deen. A lot of people say, I'm Hanafi madhab, I'm Ashari, I'm Shafi'i, I'm Maturidi, I'm Atari, whatever. Okay, great. But they have issues with other things in their life. So they didn't, for example, they don't have clarity about their money. And so there's uncertainty every month how they're gonna pay rent, for example. And that's bad, because like that thing is gonna impact your clarity on fiqh, because you will have to make that money. It's no possibility to not do that. You have to pay stuff, you have to pay rent, right? And so it's important to have clarity on all these areas in life. And so in Islam, for example, the more clear you are on your practice, the more easier your deen will get. So for example, if I'm a Hanafi madhab, which I am, I don't have to think about how do I make a wudu, how do I pray, in terms of like, what do I say, should I say, and it's not a confusing thing. So before I picked a madhab, I was confused because I was kind of merging different ways of prayer. So it was still valid, but I was unclear whether I should be out loud here, whether I should say Allahu Akbar like this or whatever, right? And the madhab just allowed me to just don't even think about it, because somebody did some homework before. And there's 4 schools of thought, so you can pick any. And so that's what I mean. It just makes life simpler, and your deen will be simpler. But you can apply it in business as well. So like once you have a customer, you know who you want to work with. And this ties to another topic, and this is Islamic related, but it's kind of overburdening yourself with deen. And I felt that recently, where you know, there are some people who are better than you in something. Let's say in tajweed, they can recite much better than you, or they have much better, they know much more du'as, right? They have more external appearance as a Muslim. So for example, they have like a solid beard, you know, they wear sunnah clothes, whatever. Anyway, so let's say these things exist, right? And you sort of feel like, well, I should maybe step it up a notch and improve my deen level. And maybe you're doing a lot, so maybe you're doing something, but you're falling behind in some other areas. The thing is, you cannot be great at all these things. It takes a lot of years to develop. So for example, I'm the imam here. That takes a lot of my time. Then I'm studying some basic, you know, Islamic sciences, and that also takes my time. And so on top of that, I was just learning a bit of tajweed, just to pimp out my al-Fatiha, which now is like solid. But I don't have time to learn it more. I don't have time because I have other priorities, and that's fine. But some people might look at it like, hey, why don't you prioritize tajweed? You should do it. Like, you should focus on it. But maybe their priority is there because, for example, they don't have a family, so they can't comprehend the amount of time you have, or they are like a student somewhere, or I don't know, like a completely different life situation. So you will only understand these things once you get older and realize, oh snap, I have like 3 children, I have like a business that's failing, and I have to learn tajweed. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it, but I don't have time now. And so when you feel that feeling of like, and that ties to the clarity, like when you feel like you're being overburdened with deen and you put a lot on your shoulders and you know you're not focused on it, it's not helping you really, you just gotta relax, man. You have your whole life for this deen. People who take a lot tend to burn out. You don't want to burn out, because when you burn out, you can lose your iman. So just be careful and don't overburden yourself with things you don't really need to know right now. So if you know the basics, continue doing that, and then slowly and surely add new things. You can't stay stagnant, of course, that's horrible, but you don't want to overburden yourself. Everybody has a limit. Somebody has a huge intellectual capacity, but they lack hugely in other areas in life. So you can never compare yourself in deen to other people, because, you know, that's not what is important. Like, what's important is how you're gonna die, how you're gonna stand in front of Allah. And if you have the correct belief and you did whatever you could, that should be your main focus. If you can improve and if you can study more, do it. If you feel like you're on that journey and you have time and you're on that level and you want to become something more than average Muslim, do it. For example, for me, I'm just happy to be average Muslim now as an imam, let's say, but still I'm just average Muslim. And because I'm still a revert, I'm only in Islam. This is my 3.5 years. It's not a lot of time, man. Like in 30 years maybe I'll do more, right? But I'm still just learning to navigate Islam. I mean, I came through a lot of things, but still I'm still on the beginning, I would say. So you have to make your life easier. And I realized the same thing. I was just too much on me. And I was just like, I'm not giving this priority because I have other things in my life that's pressuring me. I'm gonna have to solve those things first, and then I can focus here. So anyways, just my message. Clarity, gain clarity in your life, and that will help you live it easier. So in business will be easier. You'll have more clients, your service will be more better because you know who you're working with. Your marriage will be easier if you agree on things up front. Your deen will be easier if you specifically define yourself within the Sunnah Islam, where do you belong. But don't overburden yourself with deen. Anyways, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu from Slovakia. Yeah, I'm the Slovak Muslim and living another day in this dunya. Beautiful, beautiful weather, and I'll see you in the next video, inshallah.